Hey there. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Well, well.
Well. Here we go. And so, for those of you joining us in our audience today, I am Joyce Johnson, author, speaker, sales champion, business coach, and founder of Wise Sales Network. Um, I'm hoping that you guys see us because I can't even see Precious right now. So I'm gonna. Oh, there we are.
You
there,
see
there,
me?
there. Yeah, there we are. We're in. We're good now. I see you too. And so you guys are participating or joining us today for our monthly webinar. I am so excited about this month's webinar because I've been talking to a lot of people lately about this topic of pitching. And so I went out there and got the best pitch master that I know to come in and talk to you guys live tonight. So also before we get started, we just want to honor our roots here. We are both women graduates of HBCUs. This is HBCU week. I'm a PBA and Prairie View University graduate. I'm repping my purple and gold today. I got my little panther there, right there. And Precious is a Spelman graduate. So hey
I'm the
there, we're
woman. Yes,
representing.
yes.
Yes, we're representing today. But at any rate, hey, let's go ahead and get this party started. Like I said, been talking about pitching a lot. I've been spending a lot of time on Clubhouse. If you guys are familiar with Clubhouse, and they talk a lot about pitching on Clubhouse. And pitching, I've been writing my sales training. So I said, okay, let me get the best person that I know. So I am introducing you today, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself too, because I'm sure she has a bad pitch ready for you guys. But they call this woman Precious Williams the killer pitch master. Okay, just the name alone tells you that she's going to bring it to us tonight, and that she's going to help us with all of the pitching that we have to do in our everyday lives. Just mentioned to you that she's a woman of Spelman, a graduate of Spelman. She's been hired by some of the top companies in the world, Fortune 500, to help train their employees on this basic thing right here. Not basic, but pitching, right? To help them
Right.
on pitching and sales techniques and things of that nature to really help strengthen their overall performance. So with that said, without further ado, I'm welcome Miss Precious Williams. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. Hey. I am the killer pitch master.
I tell you, I was just mentioning to you before we got started, I said, hey, what about just the basic pitch that people think's basic, when someone just walks up to you, or when you're in a job interview, people don't realize how important this is, Precious, when you're in a job interview. The first thing they say, tell me something about yourself.
Yes. And most
Then what?
people fail miserably. They'll bring up childhood. They'll bring up things that have nothing to do with the pitch. And what they're really just asking you is, what is something in your background that can relate to us having trust in you to complete fulfill the tenets of this position?
Right.
And your time to shine. This is your time to show them that, hey, y'all only interviewing 5, but the only one that matters is me right now.
Absolutely. And you know what? And and not here and there, because sometimes they will come back and say, well, tell me something personal about you. But sometimes, so often, I hear our women start off and they say, tell me about yourself. They're like, oh, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, 2, 3, and I caretaker. And I'm like, because when I'm interviewing people, right? I've interviewed hundreds and maybe 1,000 people at some point. And so, start off with that. So what's your recommendations? What are your recommendations? Tell them a few things that they should be sharing in that interview, that job interview, because I talked to 3 people today that's looking for work. So what should they be saying in that job interview when they say, tell me something about yourself?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that every day you're pitching yourself anyway. And so you want to talk about the things that they're not going to find on your resume. Like, okay, so y'all know I'm the killer pitch master. So it's been a long time since I've ever been in an interview. But when I used to interview for positions, I'm a former attorney. So they're going to want to know, why should I hire you above anyone else? What do you have in your arsenal that no one else does? And so I will always talk about, well, I'm a 13-time national elevator pitch champion. I've been speaking professionally since I was 16 years old. So when you put me in the courtroom, you're not putting in a novice, you're putting somebody who can bring the drama, the energy, the flavor, the intensity. and bring it in that courtroom. You're bringing someone who, you know, works well with others. And no matter what the culture is, I can adapt pretty well to it. And I can also bring a unique flavor that no one else has. I'm from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. So I walk it like a tiger. Do you hear me? I walk it like
You
a
say
tiger.
St. Louis, Missouri? Is that
St. Louis, Missouri. Listen, I'm from there.
Missouri?
People ask me, oh, is that how it's said? Baby, I'm from there. I grew there. I grew here. You flew here. Think about that. I got bars for days.
You got bars for
days.
bars
You
for
hear me? I'm like
days.
breaking it.
Bars for
what did Drake
days.
say? He said Michael Jordan 96, 97, back to back. Back to
You know,
back.
but
Do you hear me?
yeah, and so, you know, but that's such a great point. You know, tell them what's different about you. What, you know, and another thing that a lot of times I'm coaching people on is when I ask you to tell me something about your experience, or when the company's asking for that, we start talking about what our job duties were instead of what we accomplished, right?
Say it again.
And that's why I have, right. You know, and that's why, you know, I've really been honing into that myself lately, because I'm pitching a lot, right? Whether I'm in a formal pitch or not. So so now I'm saying, hey, I've sold for some of the largest companies in the world to some of the largest companies in the world, right? I was number one in my industry, in my, company 2017, 2018. So meaning that, hey, I've been established in that one, not only that 1%, but that number one area, right? And we have to tell them about what we have accomplished in our pitch.
And I think that's so important, girl. I'm over here posting so people can see us live.
Oh, go ahead and post. Yes, go ahead.
Girl, I tell you, I post like as I'm talking, I'm like, yo, y'all need to get in here. It's straight fire. We about to
get in the room.
I'm on
Welcome
Facebook.
To the
I'm
table.
about to do it on LinkedIn. I think that even when you're interviewing, that like what you were saying, what achievements can they not find there, right?
Right.
You're talking about, like, I'm a corporate trainer for LinkedIn, Google, and Microsoft. Do y'all hear me? I'm Black on both sides.
Yes. And and when you say that, then it's like they're like, oh, and what, right?
And then I'm like, the thing is, we're so used to seeing people who don't look like us in certain spaces, then when you walk in and assert it with authority, like, listen, I'm the killer pitch master. I'm here to slay all competition. And it starts right here, right now.
Right. And so, and I think what we miss out a lot on is just that confidence in what you just said that with, right? How important is it to have that confidence?
It's very important. And I often feel like whether you're a woman, a man, differently able, LGBTQ, I want you to assert with authority who you are. Mm-hmm. So many of us walk in and like, oh, it's uneven because they have the power. It's like, but you have the power to change minds. And so even if they're thinking of one particular person, why don't you change their mind? Like when you're in these interviews, think about it. If you have the interview, you can do the job. But let's go above and beyond that. What do you bring to the table no one else can? Yes, people can push paper. Yes, they can do data entry. Yes, they can be a great attorney. But think about Johnny Cochran. I'll never forget what he said. If the glove doesn't fit, you must quit. What other attorney do you remember from? Yes, Robert Kardashian. Yes, F. Lee Bailey. Yes, but you don't remember nobody other than Johnny Cochran.
You remember Johnny Cochran? Yeah.
He wanted to
because he brought something different. And because he bought something different, and not just he bought it different, he was confident about it, right?
Yes.
Because one thing I share with people about pitching is you've got to be prepared.
All the time.
You have to be prepared. You have to constantly write down things, about yourself and your accomplishments and things so that you can read over those things. It's good to have affirmations and to say, I am. I wrote down one that someone said, but someone was saying on Instagram, I am the best. I can do it. God is always with me. I'm a winner, whatever. But you got to have those things. Like I said, I am the best because I've done this, and this. And sometimes being that preparation is just writing those things out about yourself, because I know what you guys are thinking right now, what you're telling yourselves in your mind. You're like, oh, Joyce, you just a good speaker. Oh, Joyce, you just like, this, whatever. And it's not the case. Joyce practices a lot. Joyce writes things down. Joyce was writing down. What was I doing when you got on, Precious? What was I doing?
Right now, notes. You wanted to make sure that, we had great questions, that you were in the zone. Right. And when I came on, I told you what, where business, like even leading up to this, like as a killer pitch master, you have to come prepared, but also in your preparation, being able to adapt to any situation. Think about, when you're in pitch competitions, and most people have never been in pitch competitions, or when people are on Shark Tank, people are making all these judgments about you. They don't know that you don't just have 5 minutes to pitch. You're going for the long haul. And so you're going to be asked all these type of questions. You have to be ready, and you have to be able to speak in sound bites and stuff like that. That happens even in job interviews. So you can tell a 10-minute story. Ain't nobody listening to that. So what are you saying that's quick, that's concise, and impactful at the same time? What did the great Dr. Sherwood say? You got to start with a bang and end with fireworks. Other people will tell you, you see throughout the process. It's not just that one question. What if you see it throughout? I am the best at what I do. I have 150 reasons why you should hire me, promote me, book me all the time. So you may hear this from other people. Let me throw some you ain't heard.
Right. And you know what? And that's so true, because if we're all saying the same things, I was one of the young ladies I talked to today who's been interviewing quite a bit, and she said, I just thought I was there. I thought I had it. I just don't get what happened, right? Mm-hmm. She just doesn't understand, what happened, what went wrong. And it's just like, I told her competition is very steep right now, right? Competition is very steep right now. And so the market is very competitive. And you have to, that's why preparation is so key, and understanding how you stand out from others, how you do something, right? A lot of times, especially with our sellers, a lot of times they know what they do, right? But they don't communicate how they did it. What's your personal style, right?
Right.
Says, I love the confidence by the ladies, inspiring me. I needed that. Yes, Jen. Right. Yes. You gotta have that confidence.
You do. And people say fake it till you make it, faith it till you make it. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't grow up like this. I didn't grow up with all the confidence in the world. I was always beaten down. You're not pretty enough, tell them. So I'm like, yo, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me. You know my name today, and you don't know theirs. The same people who told me I would never make it. I'm here today because I kept going when they didn't. I'm the killer pitch master because when I walked into competitions at 327 pounds, too fat, too black, and no Ivy League degree, all of that may have been true. But I came on top 13 out of 14 times. What does that tell you?
Absolutely.
I don't have a Harvard, Stanford, and Columbia degree, but I did teach at Harvard this year. Awesome. The only reason that happens is because you got to keep going. You got to build this momentum. The killer pitch master didn't start with one competition. My 14th is when I became the killer pitch master. And Robert Townsend and MC Light gave me that because they said, you slay all day. I said, baby, I come to slay. I don't come to play. So other people will walk in the competition. Oh, I just want this for experience. Man, bump that.
No.
There's somebody in the audience who can write.
Come to win.
There's someone in the audience who can put you in media. There's someone who can put you in a movie, a documentary. Baby, I done all of that. And I'm still from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. I'm from the Show Me State. So if you, I say, if you thinking you acting bad, you're going to have to show me. You're going to have to bring your Chevy to a real slow. You don't even know. I'm from the Show Me State. I'm not here to play with y'all.
Show me state.
And being a Spelman grad, I'm a Spelman woman. When I walked in, I didn't come from money. I didn't have connections. I didn't have any of that. But those women and the professors and the staff and all those people built something in us. We are the best. You're not the best because you say it. You demonstrate it. You act it out. So people can tell you all day, oh, I can teach you how to pitch. I can do this. What credentials are they coming with? What credentials? Mm-hmm. Run it. Run those credentials. Run it. And when you get past credentials, what are the intangibles that they cannot find on their resume that's not in your cover letter? I got blue nails and blue toes. I'm a Spelman woman. I got this.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I see those balloons in the back. Did you have a birthday?
No, so 3 years ago, I walked out of homelessness for good from the Bowery Mission Women's Center. And one of my clients, and let me tell y'all something. My clients love me so much they become friends, not just because of my personality, but because of the
Yes.
results. They're on Shark Tank getting investments. They're getting 2-year corporate training contracts. They're launching their next Beautiful Now. And so my client, Tina Williams, yes, girl, I know you watching. Tina, when I
Hey,
have
Tina.
things, she will send things. So she said that I have a vase of beautiful flowers. And so she was celebrating that. This woman has blew up a picture of my grandmother and it says always there. Because my grandmother, when I was 16, she was always in the audience like this. That's a grandbaby right there. That's the golden child. That's Queen Bee. If it wasn't for her speaking life into me, I wouldn't be here today. And so it's not that we're just great speakers. It's not that we just know sales. It's you get better and better as you go along. You're not the best because you did it one time. You're the best because you consistently outshine them all because you have something more in you. When you don't
Consistently.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Some people are going, and being, let's talk about being consistent because a lot of times we roll over and, we're licking our wounds, and it's okay to do that. Right. Right. I tell people, it's okay to just hide under your pillow for a day, take it to the altar, leave it, whatever you got to do, whatever works for you. But most importantly, you got to get back up. You got to get back up.
You see this?
You got to get out of bed. You got to make another phone call. You got to go see another person, and you just have to keep going. And a lot of times, one of my favorite things, we're offering our t-shirts, our sales t-shirts and things on our website right now. You guys go to ysalesnetwork.com, go to our shop page. And so one of the things I say all the time, sales 101, get up, show up, follow up. Get up, show up, follow
like
up.
Love Jones.
You can get the t-shirt now. We got the t-shirt for sale on the website. Get up, show up, and follow up, right? And so that consistency, that persistence is going to get it for you every time. And the more you pitch over and over, the more you talk about yourself, the more you talk about your product, the more you talk about your vision, your dream, and what it is you want, the better you're going to get at pitching it, right? So you just can't say, oh, well, that's Joyce and Precious. That's just what they do. You know what? It is what we do right now. But it took us time to get to where we are now with how we do it. So we want to encourage you guys to keep, like I said, I was taking notes when Precious signed on today. Write down your value points. What's value about you? What do you bring to the table that no one else does? What do you think that you do better than your peers or your competition? It may just be your smile, right? But tell them about that.
It could be your personality. And I think, Queen, again, what are your credentials? It's not just your college degree. It's not even if you didn't go to school. What are some of the things you have that truly no one else does, right? Like it could be, achievements. It could be all those things. So you want to have those already in a bucket because all those can't fit on your resume.
No.
And then you want to talk about what's your secret sauce. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about what you do better than anyone else. What can nobody touch you in no matter what?
Right. I tell people I'm a master of building relationships, right? Building customer relationships. Showing up like I do, a lot of times I've been the first and the only person in the room that looks like me. Hundreds and hundreds of times, the only person in the room looked like me. And it's not always welcoming, right? No. But I walk in there, my smile, what have you. And before it's over, that customer is going to trust me. That customer is going to like me. That customer is going to see me as a business partner because I'm going to ask the questions that are important to them. What do we need to help you be successful? What is your bonus tied to? What's the pain point? What do you think about when you can't sleep at night? Right? I'm going to get to those points. And I'm also going to talk to their team members and I'm going to ask them. And I'm going to bring them insight and solutions. And I'm going to take that time to build that relationship. I was telling someone, it's on one of my videos for the sales training. We were on Clubhouse again, and someone was saying, well, I walked into the office and I saw they were karaoke fans. So I said, are you a karaoke fan? And I was like, well, that was obvious. You walked into the office, there's a karaoke fan, right?
Right.
So I'm going to get at, you got to ask good questions too, right? Because I said, well, they said, well, what would you have asked them? I would have said, sing me your favorite karaoke song. Because anyone who's a huge karaoke fan is going to start singing that song. Then what? Now they've let their guards down. You're laughing, you're joking, and you're building that relationship. A great friend of mine, mentor Darren Palmer, says all the time, the difference between contact and contract is the R, relationship.
You better believe it. You better believe it. I also think that we don't talk enough. You hear these buzzwords, and I hate when things get to be cliche because I'm like, oh, just be authentic. So what does that really mean? I was in a meeting right before this. And of course, just like you, sometimes I'm the only one who looks like me. I'm not a wallflower. I ain't gonna sit in the back. I'm not gonna do any of that, right? And so we're all talking, and I wanted to address something because sometimes when you're in certain spaces, somebody will say to me, oh, well, do you speak on diversity, equity, and inclusion? No. Motivation? No. Sales, communication, internal, external communication, intergenerational communication. I'm a world-class master communicator. And there's nothing wrong with the others. What I'm saying is my zone of genius isn't what you're expecting. And because it's not what you're expecting, now you're looking like, what is that? I'm not afraid to stand out. I'm not afraid to assert myself. I'm not afraid to have uncomfortable conversations. In order to get to the top, I can't be in the background. And as the killer pitchmaster, why would the killer pitchmaster ever be in the background? When I walked into a room at 327 pounds, which I'm not anymore, but when I walked in, they always laughed and said, oh, baked goods, cupcakes. Now, if I had them, they'd be right cupcakes, but I don't know how to bake. So that would never be it. But when I talked about curvy girls lingerie and, not saying plus size women, like I always tell people, if you change your language, you change the game. If you talk about things in a boring way, which a lot of speakers do, and they take catchphrases and cliche them all throughout their thing, and it sounds like what everybody else is saying. And I'll tell you, change your language about things. So instead of saying plus size women, full figure divas and plus size fashionistas, they call me the female MacGyver of business because I play all things. I don't play with people. Like, give me 2 toothpicks. There's no door, window, crack in the wall I can't go through, because it's exactly what it took for me to get here. And I remember when, I crossed as a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, 8 Kappa chapter. My name was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And that's real. Because it took a lot to get through this life. And I can smile today because whereas other people are struggling right now, this is like that fourth quarter, and I'm a fourth quarter quarterback. Run the ball, give it to me. This is what we were all prepared for. And I feel like God gives his hardest battles to a stronger soldier. So you got to be tested through the fire. So as some people can get through on looks and all that kind of stuff, some of us are so talented that we forget how talented we are. And so when we're having this conversation tonight, it is about pitching, but it's also about recognizing that you don't have to look like everybody else, sound like everybody else. I don't wear suits. I don't. I'm a former attorney. I don't want to wear suits, and I don't wear black suits or blue suits. I want to come in colorful yet professional. And I also want you to treat me very, very differently, because when I speak, you're going to feel something that you don't usually feel when speakers speak. So get ready, and you're going to learn, and you're going to love it, and something's going to stick in your brain. And that's sales. We're not selling widgets, Queen. We're not selling things that are commodities. Being able to sell is about relationships, but how do you develop them? How do you build rapport? I might not walk in and talk about karaoke, but I'm gonna say something just silly,
Whatever you,
just to
yeah,
break the ice, and
yeah.
just be like, oh, we gonna get to that. Oh, you thought I was gonna talk about the weather? How's the weather?
No, we're not
How's the
talking about
NBA? No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna chop it up a little bit. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, we're gonna do that. And then we can get down to business, but I want you to kind of feel me first, because if you're expecting me,
that. Absolutely.
hi, I'm so grateful to be here. I'm Precious Williams.
You know, I share with sellers all the time when I'm out on calls in the past with them that you really have to slow down and build that rapport with the customer and build that relationship. And I some you know, I said tell one young lady, I remember being in San Antonio on a sales call with her,
Mm-hmm.
and she just had a checklist, everything and she's asked, and I'm like, and I'm trying to like, you know, it's kind of like we run to the table out of kicked her, right? I'm
Right.
kind of like patting on her leg and different things, like, you know, slow it down. Let's get to know this person. Let's understand, you know, why he's here, right? What's important to him, you know, what is, you know, how he moves, how he manages his team. Just let's just have some conversation. And after we finished, I started saying, you know what? If you build that rapport and that relationship with the customer, when you leave that room, that office, and you forgot to ask something, you can call back. And because you've connected, you've made that connection, right? Because the relationship is really the connection. They're going to answer that phone call. Their admin who is going to put you right through. They're going to give you the information you need. But if you just drill that customer all day for that hour to 45 minutes, however long you have with them, and you leave that room, you don't know anything about them or their business, what's important to them, what their why is, what's in it for them, none of those things, they may or may not take your call. It's really important to, you know, build that relationship. And so sometimes your pitch is not so much about, you know, selling. Sometimes your pitch is about, you know, why you're there, how you can help them, how you believe you can help them, and you know, and what you plan to get out of the relationship with them more than selling them something, right? I
Yeah.
hope to become a valuable resource for you. Right?
You think
I'm
pitching?
here to be able to provide this information.
I agree. I had someone say to me, "Isn't pitching dead?" I mean, I was like, "Baby, no, it ain't dead the way you're thinking about it. Maybe dead." I said, "But pitching isn't dead." And I think that you've been seeing some of the same things that are boring. Like, how many of us go to networking events?
Mm-hmm.
After 5 people, they all start to sound the same, right? So this is what you start doing. And then somebody will say something, be like, "Whoa, I heard it. I heard it. I heard something different." It wasn't, "My name is, this is what I do." Nobody wants to hear those kind of pitches. But so many of us keep hearing what everybody else is doing and thinking that's the way it's supposed to be, and it's not.
So we have some takeaways for you guys really, you know, fast. Again, you guys at Y Sales Network monthly webinar, you know, we have this webinar every month, the second Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm here with our guest, our special guest, Ms. Precious Williams, you know, the killer pitch master. We're talking about pitching. If we have some takeaways, you guys, you know, we talk about being prepared, one, knowing who you are. And you know, one thing Precious told me, and she hasn't said it here yet on the call, be willing to brag on yourself.
All day, be on your Kanye. Be on your Kanye.
Really,
Do you hear me though?
right? Be willing
Kanye.
to brag on yourself. We don't brag on ourselves enough. And since you told me that, every time I think, I'm like, am I bragging enough? You have been in my head since you said that to me.
Have you noticed
You
my
know?
posts? Do they stop?
No,
They ever, is it just like, you know what? It's been 2
I need
days.
to
I
put
ain't
some
heard
out there.
yet. No. No, and I don't even look at it as bragging. I really look at it as confirmation. I am who I say I am, right?
Oh, I say
Because
I am.
you will have speakers. They ain't booked nowhere. You will have people who talk about being communications because ain't nobody booking them. Ain't nobody, no books, no nothing. And so I feel like as a woman of color, or even as a Black woman, it's so easy to say we can't do things because you've never seen it done. But when someone does it, it's like, she must know somebody. It's got to be this and that. No, I'm really good at what I do, just like you are. But if I don't tell you, you're like, and people are like, oh, well, other people speak for you. What if they don't know what you do? They don't work with you. You may have your own firm. They don't know what you do. So sometimes I got to let it be known. Oh, my client was on Shark Tank. Peep game on what she did. Oh, did you peep my client Vonda Page? She was speaking at TEDx and killed the game. Oh, did you peep this and that? Did you see this? Oh, and by the way, I'm booked in Blissful. Got 12 speaking engagements this month. It's September. It's only September. What's today? We're going to Indiana this weekend. We're going to Detroit the next weekend. We're doing some other things. Yeah, this is what we're doing because this is what a professional speaker really looks like, even in a pandemic.
Right. And Precious, with that said, you mentioned that you are coaching a couple people and they've had some success. Tell us a little bit about that. So, for our audience out there who are wanting to be, there's all these, so for our, I was reading some stats that especially in the African-American community, entrepreneurship has increased by 28% since COVID, right? Right. People have had to get out there and figure out a way to bring in some money and provide for their families, right?
Right.
And so there's a lot of pitch competitions out there. What are some of the things you say to your clients when you're preparing them for those pitch competitions? What is maybe one, two things that the audience can walk away with that, hey, as they prepare for pitch competitions?
So as they prepare for pitch competitions, when I'm real with my clients, because as much as they choose me, I have to choose them too. And that's the power of being selective, because I don't want to work with everybody because everybody's not ready for this level of attention and this level of the true hustle of it all. So when I'm talking to my clients, like I'm thinking about one of my queens who took first place in her first competition in Houston. And I told her, you can spend all day, you can look as cute as you want to do, you can have great words that mean nothing. I said, but if you really can't show people that there really is this problem or challenge out there that's not being met in the marketplace to the level that it could be met, and how you uniquely have positioned yourself to be able to handle this particular problem, and then show your secret sauce that makes it so that you are the only person who can truly handle this. Right. You have to make your call to action so powerful that it's a no-brainer to work with you. And as you're putting all of this together, because everybody's like, oh, well, everybody talks about challenges. No, people talk about solutions all the time. But if you don't talk about the biggest elephant in the room, what problem do they have? Right? And I told you this before, Queen. I just thought everybody would love to know about pitching. But then people kept telling me, oh, well, I'm not going to be on Shark Tank and I'm not going to be at a pitch competition. I said, are you in sales? Are you the CEO? Are you a solopreneur? You're in sales. So how do you expect to get visibility? You're like, oh, well, I'll go to these conferences, take pictures with the big boys. I'm like, and then what? What does that do other than get you a whole lot of likes? Are they converting? No. The reason why you're not converting is, number one, you have not created your own lane in the marketplace. Number two, what is the problem that you're really solving? Are you more or less jumping on the bandwagon by being this, that everybody else is being? Or are you truly seeing a problem for what it is? Everybody doesn't want to know how to pitch, but a lot of people want to know how to speak well publicly. They really want to know how to have the rock star confidence to go in no matter what and kill the game. Then they can think about pitching.
Right.
What if you want investor dollars, but you don't know how to do it? What if you want media attention and ain't nobody calling, ain't nobody reaching out? What if you want to know what you say at a networking event so people can just be in the DMs with you virtually, like, yo, can I holler at you for a little bit? Yo, how much your services and stuff like that? Most people want all of that. They just don't know how to get it. And so if you cannot pitch yourself, if you cannot show why you're needed, how you solve their problem, how you are uniquely positioned to be able to do it. What do you have in your background that makes this a no-brainer? What is the call to action? And you want, as Dr. Sherwood always says, start off with a bang and end with fireworks. So I'll walk in and be like, this morning I was at a brunch.
Trying to take notes.
I did 2 different pitches, just flipped it on them. And they were like, whoa. I said, yeah, I'm always ready for this moment, because you want to be able to do that. And I always tell people, don't start off with your name and the name of your company. Nobody cares. Mm-hmm. You can use that in the middle or you can leave it at the end. Right. The first thing is you want to build rapport. You want, like Tupac said, all eyes on me. Right? So when I went in the Shark Tank and I was like, I'll never forget it, walking in and standing on my ex and just looking at, ladies, it's Valentine's Day. You finally met the man in your dreams. Oof. You know what time it is. It's time to find some sexy look. Now, mind you, I was a big girl talking about this. You hear me? They're looking like, whoa. Yeah. And mind you, most of the Shark Tank is
confidence is sexy.
Right. And they're looking like, yo. And I'm talking about, but you weigh over 200 pounds. Clearly, that's what I weighed. What's a big girl in the city supposed to do? But, I went on there with a low-cut canary yellow peplum dress with an afro and extreme makeup. Listen,
I'm not canary yellow.
I ain't playing with y'all. But what I'm saying is, everything is involved in your pitch, right? Everything from your branding and everything. So my job is not to go in there and sound like everybody else. My job is to go in there and tell you, what does a full-figure diva and a plus-size fashionista look like? What kind of confidence do you got to walk into the room with when everybody's saying, oh, big girls, we don't even see them. Baby, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. I came before Lizzo. How about that? Before Ashley Graham was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. How about that? And I had to prove on national television and walk away with $500,000 that, first of all, there were 40 million women size 14 and larger in the United States, just like me. And we are all pretty underwear. That red, hot, sexy, and fresh. Baby, I was dating a Hollywood actor. There's no way a 327-pound woman should ever date somebody famous. Yet I did. How'd I get them? With the perfect pitch. So what I'm saying to you is,
did you just say you perfect pitched the man? Hold up. Roll back.
He's
ladies, did you hear that?
Girl, that's how curvy girls got started. Quit playing with me. Quit playing. Quit playing. We in this society, we're told that, as we get older, we don't have any merit. We have nothing. I can't be a 15-year-old TikToker, but I can be a 42-year-old killer pitch master and wipe the floor with these people. Right. And so you want to ask a question, throw out a startling statistic or a quote. You want to wake people up who are bored. When you go to these a lot of virtual conferences, aren't people bored? Some of them ain't even bored.
They were bored from the last person, and now when you get in there, they're like, okay, so what now?
Right. And so you want to come on with energy. And for my introverts, I know some of y'all sitting up here like, I'm not like you, precious. That's okay. I always would say you could be the quiet storm. And let's be clear, when I started, people weren't pitching like me. They were like, my name is this is what I do. And they had the whole like pitch deck and stuff like that. I came in, I don't need none of that. I'm about to kill it right now in front of you. I don't need no lingerie. I'm about to do this. And I did it. And I painted a picture in their mind. I set a scene for where I wanted them to go. So I'm going to put you right here. Let's go here. Because this is what we telling a whole story in 30, 60, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We're going to do this. If Oprah and me get on the elevator, I'm on the elevator. Oprah comes. Ain't no talking. Hey, Oprah, love you. It's like, no, I'm getting down to it because your time is precious and so is mine. So if I got 30 seconds, I'm going to take 24 seconds right now. And I'm going to
Oprah said that before. She said she's met people and she said, how can I help you? And they didn't know.
Right. And so we ain't got no time for that. I ain't got no time for that. Your purpose in pitching is to get to that next step. So you may not get a deal that day. Maybe you're opening the lines of communication to have another meeting, or maybe they want to bring someone in. But if you're boring, if you're played, or they look at you like we wear the bet on the horse, not the jockey. You're not ready for prime time. I want to show you how to be ready for prime time. When I go into any place, I already have in my mind some of the things I want to say. I'm scoping the scene. And like this morning, when I took my books, I wasn't planning on selling them. But like, since everyone was in tourism or event planning, I wanted something that shows that if I'm a world-class master communicator, not only have I written 3 #1 best-selling books, 2 reviewed by Forbes magazine, all of them have been bought by the government, Federal Reserve, all the places you think that a book called Bad Bitches and Power Pitches couldn't be bought has been bought in droves. The reason why is because the information is so critical and the title alone will bring you in. So some people are like, oh, no one would buy it. Oh, it's crass. Is this? No. They bought it because it started to make sense. Not everybody wants to be a bad bitch. I get that. But if your target market does, that's who you speak to. You're not speaking to everybody. Everything on television is
target audience. No, Jen just said on here a little bit ago that, hey, give more than what you asked for, right? And that's exactly what you're doing. You're
Right.
giving it to them, you're bringing it. And, and for people who, may be interested in reaching out to Precious and getting some coaching for your business, for your next pitch or what have you. Another thing, like you said, is that your pitch is to move things forward. Sometimes the pitch is not always to close. Sometimes the pitch isn't always going to get you an immediate result to your end
Right.
game, but it's going to get you to that next step, right?
Right.
You're pitching to get an appointment with your customer. You're pitching to get the appointment for the proposal. You're pitching during the proposal. You're pitching for the close. It's to get you and push you forward to that next step of the process.
Right. I think
some people, if they don't get it all right away, then they get discouraged.
Right. And I think that's, first of all, I think what people are being told, right? So you could watch Shark Tank, and if they get an investment or if they don't, I'm like, baby, that's just the beginning of the story. There's so much more you don't know. To even get there, you didn't just walk out there and do your thing. There are so many things in the process. Some of us went on there not for them to invest, but to show the greater audience what we have and get a better
exposure.
Exposure. And so pitching is about being strategic. I don't expect, unless you're in a pitch competition, I don't expect the first pitch. I expect the first pitch to entice, to want them to taste a little bit more. That's why your pitch can't have everything in it. Everything that I've ever done as far as the killer pitch master or as a world-class master communicator can never be encapsulated in a pitch. So what do they need to know? If I'm speaking to speakers, they want to get booked. They want to know how to lay a solid foundation. They want to know step by step how to keep their coffers full or their funnels full. How do they stay visible in a marketplace when everyone only talks about the biggest speakers in the world? Well, because I've been able to master that, I can talk about it and show you through my clients, my customers, and the companies, corporations, nonprofits, and foundations. I've been able to do that. For people who want to pitch to the media, for people who want to pitch to investors, how can I demonstrate that? I can demonstrate that through my own experience and through my clients' experiences, but also I wrote the books on it.
So we have,
as I said, Forbes reviewed 2 of them positively.
Yes. So we have a question for you. Says, how can you decide where to pitch? I realize it's very specific to the person for what criteria to use to pick where you go and pitch.
Well, remember, pitching is something you do every day anyway. And so when you're on social media, you're posting, that's a pitch, right? It really is. It's still a pitch.
It is. And so, it really is.
It really is. So you're trying to drive visibility to you. So it depends on like where you're trying to do it, right? And so LinkedIn is my greatest lead generation period, right? So my LinkedIn lives are a pitch. When I'm in inboxes for booking producers at different shows, that's a pitch. When I am writing about the places that I've gone and what I've been able to do, and it's not my event, that's a pitch, because that shows you that you can use it anywhere at any time. So if you want to pitch for competitions, they're all over the United States, they're all over the world. If you're looking to, approach media, the reason why I like LinkedIn so much is because, of course, I'm a premium member because I actually believe that it actually works. And being able to see first, second, and third connections. Who do you need to be connected to? Mm-hmm. As you're preparing your pitch, who do you need to be connected to? What do reporters actually look for? What do they actually write on? Can you write a pitch that speaks to that if that's in your zone of genius, right? Like, let's say you want to be a speaker at corporations. What you want to speak at, you want to have event planners, checking you out. What needs to be on your profile on LinkedIn? What needs to be on your Instagram? What needs to be on your Facebook? What needs to be on your Twitter? Clubhouse. What needs to be there so it's clear what you do? That's the pitch too. So I use LinkedIn to be able to get to people. And also when I wrote my 3rd book, Pitching for Profit, once you know how to pitch, you need to be able to mobilize your network to do the pitching for you when you're not there.
Absolutely. And I was coaching someone a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you do a phenomenal job hosting a clubhouse room that she has. I go into your room, I hear people connecting, I hear people getting sales out of it. I said, what are these people saying about you? I said, I want you to host a room one day I want you to host your room, and I want you to ask those people, what do they say about you when you're not in the room?
Yes.
What do they say about you when you're not in the room?
No.
I said, and if they don't know what to say, I want you to tell them what to say about you when you're not in the room, to refer business to you, because they're getting a lot of business while they're sitting in this room that you're hosting every morning at 7 a.m.
Right. Right. Like, what's the conversion really look like? And I know a lot of people have given a lot of stuff away for free and stuff. And that's cute. That's cute. That's about, but it's really good when people know how to put you out there, right? So I've gotten into space I never thought I told you I walked out of homelessness 3 years ago. So the fact that, you know, I speak and train at some of the biggest companies in the world, the fact that I can speak at a LinkedIn event for 4 minutes and 17 seconds and walk away with 7 speaking engagements at different departments in LinkedIn is crazy. I just spoke for 10 minutes at the Yelp Black in Business Summit, and they were like, I'm so, can we set up a meeting because we want to work more with you, because what you did in 10 minits is incredible. I was like,
you know, let's draw back for a minute, because you mentioned twice about, you know, homelessness and things. And so, you know, I want, you know, if you would mind just sharing a moment of that, because again, everyone thinks that when they sit here and they're looking at you and you look so beautiful, and I love that top you have on and your smile's amazing.
Girl, that's a whole dress, girl. That's a whole dress.
I love it. I love it. You know, she came on, you guys. She came on. She's like, it was all dark and everything. She's like, you know, what time you want me back on here? The sound works and everything. She said, I'll be back. And then when she came back, I was like, okay, I see you. But you know, listen, because they're looking at you and they're saying, oh, she can do this because she's this package, right? She's this package. And they have no idea what you have to pull from to sit in that seat that you're in right now.
So I did Shark Tank. I flew out, did Shark Tank I flew out September 11th, 2016 to go to Shark Tank. Filmed my episode on September 15th, 2016. They came out and did a home visit in October 2016. I lost the love of my life and became a severe alcoholic. Got into it with my business partner, and I lost everything, right? Stopped taking my psychotropic medication that I've been taking since I was in law school. And went home to St. Louis and tried to take my life on my 38th birthday. My cousin came home, and had he come later, I would have been dead, right? I was unconscious. Woke up in the hospital, mad. Once they got my medication right, after 2 weeks, I woke up and I was like, I'm alive. And then the reality hit me. I have nothing, right? But I didn't realize that God was sending an angel. And so I had a friend, Miss Joanne Francis from Sun River Health. She called my aunt. She's like, where's Precious? I ain't seen it. And Mom was like, she's here in St. Louis. She's like, not a good look. Not a good look. So she convinced my aunt. She spoke to the doctors at the hospital, whatever. And eventually they put me on a Greyhound bus, brought me back to New York. Still ain't had nothing. Miss Francis got me into crisis respite. And she got me into the Bowery Mission Women's Center, which is not a shelter. It's a Christ-centered life transformation program. Out of my big life before, the Shark Tank, the money, I had a blue dress, a blue coat, and a book bag. That's all I had to my name. Mm-hmm. I went to the program. First day, I'm scared. I'd been riding the subway for 2 days because I had nowhere to stay. Walked in and they were like, oh, welcome home. And I'm looking at them like, I ain't heard those words in like hella years, right? And some people were like, weren't you on Shark Tank? Whatever. I was like, girl, it don't matter. I'm homeless. None of that matters. Like I was
none of that matters humbled. At that moment.
I was so humbled. Like I would walk my head down in Harlem because I didn't want nobody to see how far I'd fallen. And a beautiful woman on staff, her name was Joyce. She said, you better hold your head up high, Precious Williams. you know who you are. I'm like, no, I ain't nothing. I'm like, wretched of the earth. She's like, you are God's chosen. And I was in the program for 2 years. Y'all, I walked in with a blue dress, a blue coat, and a book bag. I walked out on September 1st, 2018 with movers. Movers. That's how much stuff I accumulated in that program. It's not a shelter. We live beautifully. Celebrities gave to the program. So it's almost like this secret. Like, it's not a shelter. So we only ate food from Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. Keep it a buck. I learned how to cook, clean. I learned how to, and when we would meet some of the big companies, like L'Oreal came and did facials on L'Oreal, y'all. And like, when the companies, people would meet me, they were like, oh, we would love for you to speak. I was like, nope, she's a student. And, it would hurt my heart, but I understood. Yeah. And I walked out, I walked into the pastor's house. I didn't know, I had a high paying job, didn't want it, and quit it. And I wanted to be the killer pitch master. And God kept telling me, I honor completion, finish this program, and I'm going to show you a different way. So when I was kicking it with those big time people before who all turned their back on me, those doors shut forever. God was like, you can keep looking at that door. I want you to look at that crack. I call you the female MacGyver gold. Get the toothpicks and get it popping. So I started speaking at, Bottomless Closet, and they introduced me to Viacom, and the doors kept opening, right? Because I wasn't teaching something I didn't know. And little did I know that my pitching would get me into bigger and bigger places that didn't require those big names to vouch for me. And the more I did, the better I got. I was teaching executive sales pitching, all sorts of things that you would never think someone who came from homelessness could do, but I did. And the more I did it, and then, Sharon Monet, encouraged me to write my first book, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches. Never thought it would be a #1 bestseller, and it was. Never thought Forbes would review it, but there was something about me that was different. And the difference is I did everything for achievements before. Now I really want to show women, you don't have to look like what you see on television to make it. And when I tell women I'm Black on both sides, there's nothing ambiguous about me, no light skin, no nothing. The reason why is because I do it with a pure heart. God gave me a second chance. And when I wrote my books, I wrote that from my heart because I came from nothing the first time. And I had to come from nothing again to do it. And it wasn't built on this person vouching for me. It was built on God. And that foundation is still today. And so these 3 years, I went from nothing to being on the cover of magazines, to being flown around the world, international professional speaker, becoming a corporate trainer, 3-time #1 best-selling author. 3 years, y'all, and my line number is 33. 33 HK01.
Oh, your line number is 33.
Lord, on the 33rd path train. Don't play with me. My grandma was born in 1933. The 33rd president of the United States is Harry S. Truman from Missouri, just like me. So when I tell you that number meant so much, to write my third book 3 years before the 3-year anniversary means a lot. Yeah. So for me, the thing is it hard? Yes. Learning how to pitch, it ain't easy, but it sure is fun once you get the handle on it. It is so good. When I walk in, and I'm my authentic self. I'm my authentic self. Listen, I had a queen who listened to me train Microsoft, and she was listening to the executive. And I said something like, I don't know if I said balls to the wall or something like that. She was sitting here like, oh my God, Precious really sounds like that in real life. Like, she thought I would change. And I said, no, ma'am. No. What I used to do doesn't work anymore. They want that real, true tea. And I'm going to give it to you, but I'm also a professional about it. So it's not like I'm just like comedian, but the thing is, I hit rock bottom. I haven't had a drink in almost 5 years. I am 4 years past my suicide attempt, almost going on 5 years, right? I love the fact that, studios and people call me and they're just like, yeah, we want you to come in. Can you work on this? Can you do? And I'm like, my God, I never thought that I could run a successful business, so that, and that's what I want to say. Pitching can take you far, even in a pandemic and economic downturn and social unrest. You can unlock the power of pitching to get you a great job. You can use it to sell more products, services, launch your next beautiful now. You can do it. It ain't easy, but it sure is fun. And now I can smile because when I see women who are in their element and they're bold, and they're doing it, whether they're the quiet storm or not. They're like, I'm woman, hear me roar. You with this?
I used to say it all the time. I am woman, hear me roar. I gotta start saying that again to myself. I am woman, hear me roar. But thank you for sharing that story. It's like I said, sometimes everyone just, they look at you and they look at the end result or whatever. They have no idea. I remember a friend saying just a few months ago, oh, well, Joyce always had easy. I'm like, well, when did that happen? Where you been? Right? Like because Joyce gets up and go hard every day. All day, every day, right? And
Right.
And there may be some days you don't feel like doing it. Talked to a young lady today. She said, hey, I broke down twice. I said, and that's okay. I said, it's not about if you broke down, it's just about getting back up. You're up, you're on this phone call with me, right? So, with that said, I know, we've gone, boy, I knew time was gonna go by fast with Precious. I knew time was gonna go by very fast. I so appreciate you being here with me tonight. If you guys go to our website at www.ysalesnetwork.com, we actually, when you join our community right now, have a ebook that I wrote some time ago, and I repurposed it for this month, and is Secrets of a Perfect Elevator Pitch. So you can get that. You can automatically download it when you go to our website. Again, www.ysalesnetwork.com. We've been doing a lot of work on the website, but Precious has this new book out. I want to make sure you guys go get it. Where can they find the book, and where can they find you?
Okay, so I'm going to put in the comments, but first, let me just say this. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Precious Williams, proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. If you want to reach out to me on social media, on LinkedIn, I'm Precious L. Williams, Killer Pitch Master. On Facebook, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Twitter, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. On YouTube, I'm under Perfect Pitches by Precious. And every Sunday, I have a show called Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitch Master. I'm going to put some things in the comments. And if you want to take, my free quiz at pitchingforprofit.com. I'll put that link in there. It's a free 6-question quiz, and it'll also, in addition to what our queen just said about her offer, mine is free too, and it will show you the best way to start pitching yourself for your particular brand. And finally, I'll give y'all the bit.ly link for my triple threat book bundle for Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for women entrepreneurs and speakers only. And then you have Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the workbook. And then finally, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency. The reason why I say currency is because if you have a great relationship, you'll never be broke. You'll be like NBA YoungBoy, never broke again. Like making one phone call, and that's all. So I'll put that all in the comments. And so put in the chat.
I was going to say there's some comments here. This year's 30 years striving and thriving from suicide attempt. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm touched. We may come from different places, but I really feel your energy. And again, thank you. I can do this. I will do it. And hell, I'm doing it. All right, then. Keep doing it, then. That's right.
I'm putting this link in first.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go and get my other link.
And then we had someone here say, wonderful conversation. Thank you for speaking, Precious. So thank you guys for joining. I think we had some technical difficulties and we didn't make it over to our LinkedIn live. I think we're going to have to post it after the fact, so apologize for that. But hey, you guys know what happens in this virtual world. But always visit our sites at Y Sales Network. We're on LinkedIn at Y Sales Network, Instagram at Y Sales Network, Facebook as well. You can always find me at I Am Joyce Johnson. I Am Joyce Johnson on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the even TikTok. There's a TikTok for it's TikTok for
TikTok. Yeah, you know what time it is.
Yeah, so we TikToking it a little bit now too. So I don't know how that's gonna work out because you guys know I don't do the dancing, but but we're there. And just stay tuned. I've been mentioning there's a survey that we have out there for you guys to let us know what you like to see from Y Sales Network. We got a lot of feedback about the website and when it converts into mobile. So we revamped the website. We have some great things out there. Visit our new shop where you can get t-shirts and mugs and what have you. Oh, where's the mug? I don't have a mug. Before you sell folks, we know we always say, don't bother us because it's the last week of the month. There's a mug out there that says, "Don't bother me." It's the last week of the month. I love it. It's
Well,
white on
girl,
the
you know
outside
how
and,
we
and
do.
red on
You
the
know I'm all
inside.
about the pitch, please. Oh, pitch, please.
Who moved my mug? We were cleaning up in here earlier today. So, but again, you've been listening to Wise Sales Network, our monthly webinar. Join us every month, every second Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, powered by Wise Sales Network and our new Wise Sales Network Sales Training Lab. So stay tuned for that, because you're going to get some amazing training offers that we have. And Precious has all her links in there. So go and copy them. And, again, thanks for joining. Send me a note, send Precious a note, make a note on the social pages. We'd love to hear from you. But thank you for joining us, and good night. Bye-bye.